Welcome to Karma Chronicles. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's begin.
I was halfway through reviewing final operations logs for the Zariah contract, shipment manifests, drone specs, secure comms, when my phone buzzed again at 2:47 a.m. I figured it was just another WhatsApp ping from Brussels, but no, it was Facebook, tagged in a post by Tanya. I opened it, expecting maybe a throwback photo or some generic "sisters are forever" crap. Nope. It was a picture of me standing outside that grimy Chevron just off Ridgeway, 2 blocks from Dad's subdivision, hair in a messy ponytail, cargo jacket zipped halfway up, old canvas duffel in one hand, gas station coffee in the other, wind blowing hard across the pavement. The caption hit like a slap. "Spotted my big sis still chasing army contractor fantasies at 36. Hashtag get real, hashtag sis needs help, hashtag family intervention." I didn't move. Didn't blink, just stared. Under it were already 20 or 30 comments growing by the second. Old classmates, family friends, some of Mom's church group. Even Dina chimed in. Girl, what is she even doing with her life? Then the laughing emojis, pity gifs, half-baked advice from people I hadn't seen since junior prom. And of course, Tanya herself was in the comments. Dropping eye rolls and "love you sis, but somebody had to say it" replies. I scrolled through maybe 50 of them. All versions of the same message. I was delusional, washed up, chasing dreams that clearly didn't pan out. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. Our cousin Jay wrote, "She always wanted to be some kind of G.I. Jane. Sad it never worked out." Aunt Carol added, "We've all been worried for a while. This obsession isn't healthy." A wave of heat crawled up my chest. My fingers curled into the edge of the table. My heart didn't even race. It just thudded, heavy and slow, like a countdown. I glanced at the files spread across my kitchen table. Satellite maps, procurement timelines, internal specs for mobile unit armor panels. Next to it sat my laptop with the encrypted feed of our cobble drop logs running. These people thought I was what? Freelancing in mall parking lots, doing fake security gigs for pocket change. Tanya had no clue what I was actually doing. None of them did, and I'd made damn sure of that. I picked up my phone and scrolled back to the post, studied the photo. It was the exact moment I'd been waiting for. That station, that time, that angle. Her SUV had rolled past, just slow enough for her to notice me. I'd walked into frame on purpose, and she took the bait like a damn pro. I turned off the screen, reached for my red Sharpie, and crossed out the last item on the contract checklist. The billion-dollar close was 2 weeks away. I didn't sleep after that. Just kept working, flipping through documents while Tanya's post kept buzzing up likes and comments. Half the idiots piling on had no idea what a logistics contractor even was. But that was the point. I'd spent the last 6 years making sure nobody really understood what I did. To them, I was just Jules the consultant. Ran a few odd gigs, wrote vague reports, hopped around military bases like a lost contractor who peaked at 27. I let that narrative live, even fed it a little. I rented a 2-bedroom duplex near Manassas, Virginia. Nothing flashy, just close enough to Quantico to make the consulting story believable. I drove a faded Tacoma with a cracked taillight and wore the same field boots I'd had since Kandahar. Showed up to family BBQs in windbreakers and jeans like I'd just come off some third-tier security shift. Truth was, I was CEO and principal architect of Cardinal Response Group, a full-spectrum defense logistics contractor running ops in 32 countries. If it moved troops, fed units, or flew over dangerous terrain, we had our hands on it. High-speed mobile kitchens, anti-jam communication arrays, recon drones, blast-resistant medical pods, all ours. All NDAS, full blackout, nothing public. When I say we were invisible, I don't mean broke. I mean deliberate. Our work fed into 5 NATO defense streams and 3 overlapping U.S. contracts. We were the ones who made sure soldiers had working tech, dry socks, clean food, and air evac if things went sideways. Not glamorous, but absolutely vital. I'd met with more joint commanders than Instagram influencers had followers, just not in any setting my family would ever recognize. And that was fine with me. Tanya, though, she loved the spotlight. Owned 6 fitness studios, all under her brand Tone with Tanya. All bright lights and influencer energy, custom shaker bottles, podcast appearances. Women who build empires panels. She loved telling people how she was the driven one, the stable one. She once introduced me at a wedding as my sister Jules, who's between projects right now. I didn't correct her. Never did. She needed the story that I was floundering. I needed the cover. It worked for both of us, until she tried to humiliate me. But here's the thing she never understood. I don't react. I set traps. That gas station moment, not random. I tracked her car leaving Dad's development through the traffic camera at the end of the block. She always took Ridgeway when heading back to the studio. I parked across the street and waited for her to hit the red light. When I saw the white BMW slow down, I stepped out of my truck, hair messy, coat half-zipped, duffel slung over my shoulder like I'd just come from a failed mission. She had her phone up before I hit the curb, and I knew she'd post it. Her whole life's built around public wins. She couldn't resist. What she didn't know, and what none of them knew, was that I'd been laying low on purpose. Every time someone cracked a joke or dropped a comment about me, still chasing that military fantasy, I logged it and smiled. Because the day was coming when I wouldn't have to say a word. It'd say itself. I had a team of 47 full-time, most of them ex-military or deep background intelligence contractors. We operated out of 4 secure hubs: Virginia, Berlin, Nairobi, and Ankara. Our internal Slack channels were encrypted. Our shipments were triple verified before crossing borders. Our client calls were scheduled in 5 time zones with voice-scrambled IDs. And nobody called me Jules at work. I was Grant, just Grant. We didn't advertise, we didn't promote. We delivered results and disappeared. The fact that Tanya thought I was flopping proved the OPSEC was working better than planned. She thought her little post would embarrass me into finally getting real. What she actually did was set fire to the last layer of camouflage, that photo. It was the exact image I needed the public to see before the blackout lifted. Raw, washed up, broke, easy to dismiss. Now, when the truth dropped, the contrast would be nuclear. At 2:58 a.m., I checked our secured dashboard one more time. The contract milestone was officially verified in Brussels. 2 weeks from now, I'd go from invisible to the name on a $1 billion deal. And when it hit, Tanya wouldn't know what the hell just happened. At 6:12 a.m., my phone lit up again. This time, it was her. Tanya, FaceTime. I let it ring once, twice, then picked up. Didn't say anything. Her face popped up glowing with that smug, fake concern look she always wore when she thought she had the upper hand. "Hey," she said, dragging it out like we were besties. "Didn't mean to wake you." I didn't answer, just adjusted the brightness on my second monitor, watching the convoy markers slide across the Ukrainian border. 9 semis loaded with portable comm units, 2 trailing UAVs, and a decoy signal truck. Everything was green, smooth so far. Tanya kept going. I feel like you should see what's happening. Like the response has been kind of overwhelming. People are really talking, Jules, about, reality. I turned the volume up on the live convoy feed, just enough to hear the operator confirmations in my earpiece. All quiet. Tanya leaned in closer to the screen, her voice dropping into a tone she probably thought sounded mature. "I'm not judging, okay? I just think it's time to stop pretending to be some private military boss, or whatever fantasy you've been chasing. You're 36. It's okay to pivot." "Pivot to what?" I asked, still not looking at her. She scoffed. "To something sustainable. You work odd jobs and live in a rental, Jules. That's just reality. People care about you. They're worried." I muted the audio in my earpiece and finally looked her in the eye. People care about a version of me they invented. That's different. Tanya waved her hand like she was brushing off a gnat. "It's not about that. It's about helping you move forward. And hey, your name's trending locally. The post's already been shared over 600 times." She said it like she was proud, like this was her way of saving me. I leaned back, one eye still on the fleet tracking screen. "So you went viral for calling your sister delusional. Bold move." "Oh, come on," she said, laughing. "It's not that bad." It sparked a real conversation. A few friends messaged me saying it made them think about their own siblings, or how some people just get stuck chasing dreams instead of facing life. I stared at her for a second, then looked back at the map. Convoy Charlie had cleared checkpoint 7, right on schedule. "Thanks for the check-in," I said calmly. Tanya's face flickered, like she wasn't sure if I meant it. "I mean it," I added. "It's good to know how people see me. Helps to know what they expect." "Okay," she said slowly. "You're not mad?" "Not even a little." She smiled again, confused but satisfied. "Good. Because I think you're smart. I really do. Just maybe not built for this tough girl, tactical world. And that's okay. I smiled. You might be surprised by what comes next. Tanya blinked. What does that mean? But I'd already hung up. At 8 a.m. sharp, my secure line buzzed. Julia Grant speaking, I answered, already halfway into my uniform. This is Dalton. Embargo lifts in 60 minutes. All agencies locked and pre-cleared. You're green. I didn't need a countdown. I'd been ready since January. Any pushback? I asked, snapping the final clasp on the chest rig. None, he said. Forbes has the cover. Bloomberg's got your Q and A. Defense News leads with the drone logistics angle. CNN's holding for the 9 o'clock drop. Copy, I said, confirming Cardinal's name will be in full. Yes, ma'am. Department signed off last night. Public-facing operations now authorized. I hung up, heart steady, not a twitch in my hands. Stepped into the hallway and gave a quick nod to Mendez, our security lead, waiting outside the door in full plainclothes. We took the elevator down, quiet. He didn't ask how I felt. He knew. I didn't do feelings before deployment. The van was already outside, black with federal tags. I slid into the back and opened the tablet mounted to the side wall. Live updates were already rolling in. Tanya's post had cracked 2,000 shares overnight. It was trending across Virginia and spilling into DC's regional traffic. Someone had even stitched it on TikTok, calling it the sad case of a woman who refuses to grow up. Let them talk. I tapped over to our internal dashboard. All 47 team members had checked in. We were posted up across 5 rooms in a DC. Co-working suite, secure badges, partitioned routers, hardline comms only. My ops chief, Baron, had a full call schedule mapped for the day. Industry leads, DoD spokespeople, NATO procurement reps, and 3 different think tanks wanting a quote on invisible contractors made visible. In 48 minutes, everything would change. The van rolled down E Street, calm and slow. I glanced down at my uniform, matte black, tailored at the cuffs and waist. No visible insignia, except the Cardinal Response Group patch over my chest. I'd had it made a year ago, worn it once. This day, we pulled into the underground lot, past 2 layers of ID verification, and took the freight elevator up. Our floor had blackout curtains pulled, sound-damp walls, and a triple redundant signal kill switch. We weren't flashy. We were professionals, quiet, sharp, and surgical. I walked through the space. Some of the newer guys stood when I passed. I didn't stop, just gave them a short nod. Baron met me at the conference room door. 10 minutes early, he said. I don't do late, I said. He cracked a grin and handed me the printed agenda. You ready for the storm? I glanced at the first name on the list, Forbes. They'd had the exclusive since August, under full alias. I'd given the interview wearing a scarf and sunglasses in a back room of a Turkish logistics compound, voice altered in post. They had no idea they were sitting across from the CEO, not until now. Let it hit, I said, and walked into the room. The screens lit up at 8:59 a.m. sharp. At 9 a.m., the embargo lifted, and everything went loud. The Forbes homepage refreshed. Headline, top center. Contractor in the shadows. How Julia Grant built a $1.3 billion global defense empire. Photo of me, Morocco airstrip, standing in front of a compact drone launcher, wind pushing the edge of my scarf. The same woman Tanya had called delusional. The same boots, the same jawline. Seconds later, Bloomberg's push alert rolled in. Quiet Power, the billion-dollar rise of Cardinal Response Group. Then Defense News. Logistics ghosts no more. Meet the company behind NATO's frontline mobility. By 9:02, our secure inbox had over 200 requests. I sat down at the head of the table, cracked open my laptop, and pulled up Tanya's post again. Comments were still flying in. Wait, is this the same Julia Grant from the Forbes article? Holy crap, just saw CNN. Your sister is a beast. This did not age well. And there she was. Tanya, still liking comments, still frozen in her last activity, a laughing emoji on someone calling me another fake military wannabe. Timestamped 6 hours ago. I closed the tab and turned to Baron. Let's get to work. By 9:03, the first wave hit. Slack lit up like a switchboard. Baron leaned over his laptop, reading out loud. Forbes' servers are slowing. Articles trending. Front page of Reddit under power moves. We're officially viral. No celebration, no high fives. That wasn't how we did things. But I saw the corner of his mouth twitch, just once, before he went back to triaging press requests. I opened my inbox. 74 new messages in the last 4 minutes. NATO rep asking for a meeting. A German procurement group wanting to license our drop point mobile tech. Defense Now wanted a live interview today. They'd already cleared security background. Then I checked Facebook. Tanya's post was still up. Same photo, same caption. Still chasing Army contractor fantasies at 36. Except now the comments were burning down. Girl, that you might want to delete this. Oof, this aged like milk. Isn't this your billionaire sister? The Forbes article just dropped. She built a global logistics empire. Are you okay? Tanya hadn't said a word. Her last interaction was still there. That laughing emoji under someone's "she'll be driving Uber soon" comment. Timestamp 2:04 a.m. I didn't touch anything, just scrolled and watched the damage spread. People who'd chimed in overnight with their little truth bombs and hot takes were backpedaling fast. Aunt Carol had deleted her comment about "maybe it's time for an intervention." Uncle Pete's sarcastic. "Still playing soldier, huh?" Was gone too, vanished. But I had screenshots, all of them. DMs started rolling in, fast and desperate. "Hey Jules, didn't realize you were doing so well. So proud of you. Wow, just read the article. You've always been so private, haha. Miss you. Just want to say sorry for my comment earlier. I didn't know. Hope you're good." Of course they didn't know. That was the entire point. CNN went live at 9:07. I pulled up the feed. There I was, on screen, photo from Germany, tactical pack slung over my shoulder, standing in front of a field distribution hub. The headline, "Stealth CEO emerges in $1.1 billion defense deal." Below it, "Virginia woman quietly builds global logistics company supporting US and NATO forces." The host was hyped like they'd found Bigfoot. She's never done a public interview, no press until this morning. Her company has supplied operations across Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine, and sub-Saharan Africa. They cut to the Forbes article, flashed my name, my face, my company, Tanya's nightmare in real time. Baron turned his screen toward me. "Want to read your fan mail? Someone just offered you a TED Talk." "No," I said. "Schedule it for later. Focus on comms." "Copy that." At 9:12, Tanya's studio's official Instagram went dark. Deleted. Not just the gas station post. Everything. All 6 pages. All her motivational Monday reels. All the posts about discipline over delusion. Gone. I sat back and folded my arms. By 9:19, I had a message from one of her former high school enemies, Amanda Loring, the one Tanya used to body shame in front of everyone senior year. "Hi, Julia. Just wanted to say this is the best karma arc I've ever seen. Tanya made my life hell back then. Today made me smile." I didn't respond, but I let the message sit at the top of my inbox like a trophy. By 9:23, our company site had over 110,000 unique hits. Applications were already being submitted. Retired Green Berets, supply officers, Stanford MBAs, ex-CIA analysts, all trying to find the careers page that didn't exist yet. I opened our internal comms and dropped a message in all staff. "Keep your heads down. Stay professional. We didn't work this hard to get sloppy now." Got 47 green check marks in under 5 seconds. At 9:26, I opened Tanya's page one last time. Her photo was still up, but the comments had gotten worse. Someone dropped a side-by-side comparison. Gas station photo on the left, Forbes photo on the right. Caption said, "Turns out the tragic wannabe owns the drones you couldn't pronounce." Thousands of likes. Still no post from Tanya. No apology, no update, no response. Just silence. I closed the tab, stood up from the table, and walked into the hall. Let her sit in it a while longer. By the time I stepped back into the conference room, my phone was melting down. 412 missed calls. Tanya alone had tried 27 times. One of those was a FaceTime request, declined instantly. I let it buzz once, then tossed the phone on the table without answering. Baron glanced over. "Want me to cut external access to yourself for the day?" "No," I said. Let him panic. Slack kept buzzing, emails kept stacking, but it all faded behind the one text that popped up next. Dina. "Yo, Tanya is in full meltdown mode. Did you see what she said about you? She's losing it." I didn't respond, just tapped the link she sent underneath. It was a screen recording of Tanya's now-deleted Instagram story. Her face was blotchy, eyes puffy. No makeup, hair tied up like she'd ripped it back in a rush. She looked wrecked. "I didn't know," she said, voice shaking. Like, I thought she was doing weird security gigs or whatever. I didn't know she was, actually legit. I didn't mean to humiliate her. I didn't know. Don't come for me, okay? I locked the screen and shoved the phone in my jacket. Aunt Carol's voice memo came in next. I didn't play it out loud, just put it to my ear and listened to her cry. "You always were so quiet about things," she sobbed. "I didn't know. None of us did. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so proud of you. Please don't cut the family off." Always with the begging after the damage was done. I finally called Mom. She answered on the first ring, breathless like she'd been waiting by the phone. "Hi, sweetheart," she said. "I'm watching CNN. They're talking about you again." "Yeah," I said. "It's been that kind of day." She paused like she didn't know whether to congratulate me or scold me. "You always said you worked in logistics. I didn't know you meant international weapons distribution." I didn't say anything. Let the silence do the talking. She finally cleared her throat. "Well?" "Your father's speechless. He keeps pacing the house, muttering, 'That's my daughter. That's my daughter.'" That part almost made me laugh. Almost. 10 minutes later, Tanya texted again. "Tanya, Jules, please call me." I had no idea. I looked like a monster. The guilt was finally catching up. Good. I watched the typing bubbles pop in and out. She was still trying to figure out what else to say. She had no idea how to fix it. I didn't write back. Sometimes silence is the sharpest blade you can use. So I put the phone face down and walked over to Barron's station. "Pull me off the interviews for the next hour. Rotate Mendez in. I'll handle the Bloomberg follow-up myself at noon." He raised an eyebrow. "You good?" "I'm great," I said, just letting someone sweat a little longer. He nodded and didn't ask who. At 1:05 p.m., I sat down in the glass-walled interview room for the Defense Now segment. No prep needed. I'd lived every line of the story they were about to ask about. The producer gave me a 3-second countdown, then the host leaned forward on the monitor. Fake sincere smile locked in place. "We're joined now by Julia Grant, founder and CEO of Cardinal Response Group, the name behind today's biggest story in global defense." "Appreciate the invite," I said. My voice was steady, clipped. The host jumped right in. "Your company just secured a $1.1 billion defense logistics contract, but up until this morning, most of the world had never heard your name. Why the silence?" I didn't flinch. "You don't need to flaunt power to have it." He blinked, caught off guard by how direct it was. "So this quiet approach, is that personal preference or operational security?" "Both," I said. "We work in places where visibility gets people killed. Attention was never part of the mission. And yet now here you are. Front page, CNN coverage, trending all over social media, including," he paused like he didn't want to say it, "a viral post from a family member." I nodded once. "People make assumptions. That photo of you at a gas station, tired and carrying a duffel, that was real. Every bit of it. So, not a coincidence that it surfaced right before the embargo lifted." I smiled. "Let's just say I know how narratives form." He exhaled through his nose, clearly enjoying the chess match. "Are you telling me you baited your own sister into going viral?" "I didn't say that," I said. The interview wrapped 10 minutes later. The producer muted the line, then said, "That was one hell of a play, Miss Grant." "Wasn't a play," I replied, standing. "It was the truth. Just timed right." By the time I stepped out, our HR inbox had over 2,000 job applications. Retired colonels, Delta Force logistics specialists, Harvard MBAs, ex-CIA systems analysts. Everyone wanted in. People who used to ignore my calls were now trying to get past our gatekeepers. Mendez walked over with his tablet. "Recruitment teams asking for headcount expansion. We've already outgrown the current pipeline." "Put together a strategy brief by morning," I told him. "I want names, roles, and clearance-ready backups." He nodded and walked off. Everything was moving. And then I got the notification. Tanya had posted. I clicked it. A plain black background with white text, "Taking a step back from social media for mental health. Be kind. Words matter. No apology, No clarification. Just a quiet retreat behind a hashtag and a closed comment section. Not surprising. But the replies to that post came fast. Someone reposted it with the caption, "Translation, roasted the wrong sibling and got clapped by Forbes." Another reply came from Amanda Loring, of all people, Tanya's prom rival. "This is karma for the time she made fun of me in front of the whole gym sophomore year. Julia, if you ever need a PR girl, I got receipts." I didn't respond, but I did save Amanda's contact. At 2:14 p.m., I finally opened our last text thread. Me, dinner at Dad's, Sunday. "We'll talk then." She saw it within seconds. The bubbles popped up, then disappeared. Then came back, then gone again. I shut the phone off. Let her think. Dad's porch light was already on when I pulled up. Late afternoon sun bleeding out behind the trees. Screen door cracked open like he was half expecting company, but didn't want to admit it. I parked, didn't rush. Tanya's car was in the driveway. Same white BMW with vanity plates. TONEUP. She hadn't changed it yet. Inside, the house smelled like microwaved marinara and lemon-scented Lysol. She was standing by the kitchen island when I walked in, makeup free, hoodie pulled tight around her hands, eyes swollen like she'd been crying for hours but trying not to show it. "I brought pizza," she said, barely above a whisper, and about 400 apologies. I didn't answer. Just unzipped my field jacket, still wearing the same boots from the Defense Now interview, and dropped into Dad's beat-up recliner. She stayed standing, fidgeting with the pizza box, then finally sat on the edge of the coffee table like she couldn't decide if she was welcome yet. "I didn't come here to spin it," she started. "I know I look like an idiot. And I deserve it." I didn't argue. She glanced up at me, then looked away. "The post, it was mean. I thought I was being clever. Honest, like I was doing you a favor." "You weren't," I said flatly. "I know." She took a breath. Her voice cracked a little. "I really thought you were lost. Like, floating. One of those people who couldn't let go of what they used to be. Or maybe I just didn't need to explain myself to you." She nodded fast, eyes filling up again. "You didn't. You absolutely didn't, and I get that now." I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. "So what made you think going viral with it was the answer?" She winced. "Because I'm addicted to being the one who's ahead." There it was. She wiped her nose on her sleeve, finally letting it spill out. "I've been playing the successful one for years. Building the brand, the body, the identity, it's all I've got. And when people start questioning that, when I see someone like you, calm and focused and not trying to impress anybody, it makes me feel like I'm scrambling." "You are," I said. She nodded again, hands clenched tight in her lap. "I've built my whole identity around being the one with it all together. And you made me look like a damn joke. Without even trying." That part she said without bitterness, just raw truth. "Good," I said, "because I didn't try. I didn't have to." She let out a short laugh through her tears, like it stung but also somehow helped. Then she broke down, full-on sobbing, hands covering her face, shoulders shaking. I didn't move, let her get it out. "I don't even know who I am now," she said through her hands. "I don't know what's real and what's just what I've sold people. And now I'm the punchline. I made myself the punchline." "You did," I said, "but you're not stuck there." She finally looked up. "How the hell do I fix it?" I leaned back, crossed my arms. "Start by shutting up and listening for once." She let out a small, bitter laugh. "Yeah, that sounds about right." We sat in silence for a bit. Dad wasn't home, probably on purpose. Gave us space. Then I spoke. "You ever think about working in something real? Something where what you say actually matters?" She tilted her head. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying Cardinal needs a media manager." She blinked. "You want me to work for you?" "No, I want you to work with me. There's a difference." She wiped her face with her sleeve again, slower this time. "You trust me after all this. I trust that you know what viral impact looks like, and I trust you don't want to get it wrong twice." She sat back, stunned quiet for once. "I'll need to earn it," she finally said. "Damn right you will." She gave a slow nod, then looked at the pizza. "You want a slice?" "Only if it's not pineapple." "It's pepperoni." I stood up. "Good, let's eat." We finished the pizza, cleaned up the boxes, and barely said another word. That was enough for one night. By the next evening, Cardinal response was everywhere. NBC opened their segment with a clip from Defense Now. Fox News called me a logistics mastermind. CNN leaned into the irony. Their banner read, "From laughingstock to leader, how a viral post unveiled a billion-dollar operator." They loved the twist, the mystery, the quiet sister with a duffel bag who'd outbuilt half the defense industry. Every angle, every station, they all led with the same punchline. I never said a word. I didn't fight back. I just let the truth speak louder. Tanya's post had become the go-to example in every discussion about judgment and perception. Marketing panels, business lectures, even a TEDx event in Toronto used it in a presentation titled, "The Dangers of Assuming You Know Someone's Story." By Thursday, I'd been offered 3 book deals, 2 documentary interviews, and an invite to speak at a defense summit in Qatar. I passed them all to our comms team, delegated every single one. I wasn't chasing visibility now. I'd already won. Friday morning, Tanya walked into her first Cardinal staff meeting. She wore black slacks, flats, and a cardigan. Nothing loud, nothing branded. She looked nervous as hell, clutching a notebook like it was armor. She didn't speak much, just took notes, listened, asked 2 smart questions during the briefing. No fake confidence, no showboating, just focus. As we left the building, I held the door open for her. She exhaled hard. "You know," I said, "you might be better at this than I thought." She gave a short laugh. "I still can't believe I called you a failed wannabe in public to like 800 people." I shrugged. "It was the best press rollout we've ever had." She looked sideways at me. "You're not going to start making me wear cargo pants, are you?" "Only if you want the employee discount on drones." She laughed again, really laughed. And this time, it didn't sound panicked or defensive. It sounded like release. Some people spend their whole lives trying to prove themselves. Others wait until the moment when they finally stop pretending they have to.